It's the Chris and Joe Show. It's the Chris and Joe Show.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Chris and Joe Show, Part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Any of my friends, if they ever disrespected their parents, guess who was there with their parents to be like, no, that was wrong. You need to not do that because that's your parent. I don't have mine.
Yeah.
You have yours. You need to listen.
Yeah. So she was on me a lot because I was a little rebellious. Mom and Dad knows this already. Not because I wanted to be. I think I was just looking for an escape. I didn't really know how to communicate certain things as a teenager.
And with you being the only girl in the household with these boys, and they, personality and they testosterone, and you being the only girl
with
in the
testosterone.
House. So it was like
I'm a C-Man Junior. Anybody that know me from middle school, that was my nickname, He-Man.
Yes,
all my friends called me He-Man because I was the bully buster. I didn't like bullies. I would bust them down.
And she had issues, okay, growing up. Fighting all the time and all type of stuff.
In the library.
But I wasn't that type of person. See how we
balance each other out.
I wasn't the person that was always in drama. She was always in some kind of fight. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is you always rah-rah?
And she always missed every fight
that
I had.
I did.
She's like, Crystal fighting where? What?
Why is she fighting? Why?
Because I couldn't I just had a low tolerance for disrespect. Mm-hmm. And so with that, traveling into our 20s, I think that followed me. Mm-hmm. The no tolerance for disrespect. I think I had issues with trusting people. Mm-hmm. Whereas you were too trusting. So that's when I started to influence you, like, no, care for your heart. Take care of yourself. Don't just give your heart to the people. They're going to tear it up. And that's what they did. So
and she was there to, help me
piece it back together.
Right. And I was there for her when it was,
when
vice
I was
versa.
Dealing with issues of being wonderfully sheltered.
Church every day.
Yeah, it was sheltered. Like, not necessarily, yeah. I mean, but it was because the protection. Yeah. And I appreciate it now, but we didn't, when we were kids, we didn't appreciate being sheltered.
Right.
We wanted to get away.
Just like our kids now, they think that they know it all and we don't know.
I mean, we didn't have quarantine back then, but I was quarantined. So I'm okay with being quarantined because I know what it feels like.
Right.
And I think it was
to not be quarantined, to be quarantined.
To be or not to be quarantined. The commercial. So yeah. And then now that we're in our 30s, we've gone through so many experiences, and I think now we bounce back on each other. Like, we've been through marriage, we've been through
kids, having kids, being pregnant, relationships with different kind of people, and from us having all these different relationships with all these different type of people, we realize why our relationship is the way it is and how close we are. And we appreciate each other for that. And that helps us, each and every day that we live our lives and go about this journey of business, life, and artistry.
We work better together because we have the same mindset. Mm-hmm. I think we think alike. We kind of piggyback off of each other's ideas. We say each other's words. Sometimes what you're thinking is what I'm saying.
Right.
Or you will say what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. Like, her daughter will be like, oh my goodness, best friend goes.
Yeah.
I want a best friend just like y'all got. Y'all have the best relationship, of two women can have.
Yeah.
And though we argued and did all that, we always knew how to come back together and talk to each other, talk about whatever issues that we had. We would come back and talk about it, even though, you know, it would be months or whatever, weeks down the line that we hadn't talked. We would always come back and talk those things out and talk those issues out, and also help our connection and bond, you know, get a little stronger.
Yeah, you learn about people when you are butting heads with them. You learn
because
more.
The life that we lived at school was one life versus outside of life, you know, and then us becoming adults.
We're more frustrated with the process of life.
Yeah.
And it caused our views to, you know, her views may have been on a positive note, but mine may have been on a negative note, or just even not seeing eye to eye when it came to certain things. Like a lot of stuff that she did, I would be like, no, honey, that's not the way you should have done it. What if you did it like this? And at the time, she may not have wanted to hear me. So, or vice versa, because I popped off, and then, but I'm more aggressive to where I'm like, listen to me. But she's more passive to where she'll be like, go and get your time. Call me when you're ready to talk. And I think that's weird that we both, that's the Cancer in me and the Sag in you.
Yes.
But that's how we are.
Yes. On that note, I have to step away for a minute to go check on my food. I will be right back. But Crystal can keep talking to you guys.
We can.
And we're back.
Okay, so brainstorming is another thing. I think we brainstorm together well. We build together well.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Our
Our ideas that we come up with is crazy.
I don't even know where to begin. I guess we can use our logo for an example.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's so detailed. There's so many meanings behind what you see when you see our logo. We're going to get into that a little further, but just building the brand of Creative Like My Father was the two of us together, putting our gifts together and trying to figure out how to brand it.
Right.
To where when you see our logo, you know exactly what we do. So that's a good way of explaining how we brainstorm well. Let's see. Okay, I guess it goes right into how Creative Like My Father was birthed. So we start with our real estate weekend.
So I had been like knowing that I kind of wanted to work for myself. I just didn't know exactly what I kind of wanted to do. I also knew that I kind of wanted to get into real estate a little bit, but I didn't know exactly where in real estate I wanted to be in. So a company came here to Wisconsin, and I went to one of their conferences. They're little free hour or 2 hour conference things, whatever. And it kind of got my wheels going and my gears, you know, moving. And I'm like, okay, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. So I called Crystal and I had explained to her what I had, you know, just witnessed. And I had told her that I had signed us up for a 3-day.
No, she said she signed us up.
Yes, signed us up for a 3-day conference with them that they were also offering. And I thought that it was just such a good idea and such a good opportunity, and it was like perfect timing for me. I felt like for us to do something, it just kept, I don't know, it was some feeling inside of me that just kept pushing me to want to call and go. So I was like, okay, let me do it. So I brought Crystal along, and we sat there and we took in so much knowledge, not even just from that real estate thing. It was like business, finance, stuff that we did not learn about while we were in school. And it started making us think about life a little different. And we saw our future like, man, if we don't do something now, where are we going to be with our kids in the future? So that kind of motivated us to make steps and strides to get to a point where we can be secure with our future.
Yeah, because the position we were in was funky. We didn't like it, and we knew, you know, just looking around us, we wanted something different, something better for our kids, not necessarily for us. We were thinking about legacy and leaving a legacy. How, you know, parents, our job is to leave something for our kids or teach them something that they could live off of that would benefit them in the long run, and that's what we're speaking out to do.
And even though growing up together, we wasn't thinking about those things growing up. We didn't think about like our future, even though people was telling us about, oh, you got to think about your future. We really wasn't thinking about our future. We were focused on the moment in time, and we did have our children
really
early,
I would say.
and maybe we should have, you know, those are the things that we was thinking about while we were there. Like, well, maybe we should have, you know, waited a little bit longer and went to school and got our education, because those things are important.
They're essential.
We didn't understand when our parents was trying to tell us that we should go to school. We just knew that we was tired of school and we was ready to be out of school, and but we wanted something for our future. So
we noticed that the approach that our parents were giving us, or our people around us, wasn't, you know, receivable.
Right. It
for
wasn't
us.
like
everybody
something
receives
that
things differently.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have learned that, as you know, as an adult but as an adult, you know, coming into my adulthood, having my own children, that all my kids don't learn the same. Even with us doing this homeschool thing now, like all our kids don't learn the same, and that is something that is important. Like, if you putting it out there like this and a person accepts it like that, they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna want to get it. It's gonna be frustrating to them. So, back then, I know for myself, I was ready to be out of school. 12th grade, I was like,
you was ready.
I'm graduating high school, I'm done with school. But, you know, my family, it was either you go to school or you get a job. Well, I knew I wasn't going to school, so I'm finna go get a job and make my money.
It was about making money.
Like, at that time, I didn't have no kids, I didn't have nothing.
You didn't really have no responsibilities.
It was just me taking care of myself. So I was like, shoot, I'm out here getting my money. I'm out here spending my money, doing what I want to do, instead of me focusing on my credit, getting my credit straight while I had that money and making that money, and as well as trying to put something towards my future. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, oh, here right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm
get these
young,
nails done, get these lashes, boo-boo.
Get my hair done, get the best next outfit, the next best shoes. Like, that was my mindset at that time when I was a kid. But now as I'm 30-some years old, when I started approaching 30, I was like, hold up. Oh my goodness, life has hit me, and I'm like, shoot, I got these kids I got to start taking care of, and I got to start looking out for their future. So that kind of is what...
That's what drove that weekend.
That my mindset to be like, okay, I got to start focusing.
Yeah. And
me pulling her in, it started making her feel like, oh my goodness, I got to start focusing. Because my kids is the same age as your kids, and our kids about to be grown soon, and what are we going to be able to give to them?
Yeah.
And that's what inspired Creative Like My Father. Yeah. We wanted to give our kids something that they can, you know, kind of do as they get older, you know, as far as business-wise.
Or whatever it is that they want to do. We explored so many different other options, and it all led up to Creative Like My Father. Let me see on this. It says, okay, we had to realize our purpose. Once we realized what it was that we were meant to do, I think that's when it sort of became a little easier. We knew we were meant to help people. But how? How do we help people, right? So we started educating ourselves on business and our passions, figuring out what it is that we're good at and how we can use what we're good at to help people. Okay? And give it and and give back. Then we went into we started taking big steps as far as coming up with a name. We came up with a name, Creative Like My Father. It came to us in a weird, beautiful way. And we both kind of said it together. One of us said creative, and the other one said like my father. And it was like, that's it, you know. And we did a vision board. We did a couple vision boards to kind of hone in on where it was that God wanted to take it. So creative, like my father meaning God. We believe that God created us in His image, and if He's the creator, that makes us creators. And each one of us are gifted with different talents. And all of these different talents that you have are a part of you for a reason. They form your purpose in life. And all of those gifts and talents are used to fulfill that purpose in life. And so that's what we do. We coach you into that process of figuring out what it is that you're good at. Right. And how can you
pull that out.
Pull that out and draw it to your purpose. Yep. So
that's where Creative Like My Father comes from. And our logo is right here.
Yes, right here.
This is our logo. And we, as you can see, it's a butterfly. They look like a butterfly. So from our heads, we are creative. First it comes from our head, we have to have a thought, you know. And then from that thought,
it's the Chris and Joe Show. It's the Chris and Joe Show. It's the Chris and Joe Show with Chris and Joe. It's the Chris and Joe Show. It's the Chris and Joe Show. It's the Chris and Joe Show.